of positive ANA tests among adolescents, kids aged between 12 and 19, increased almost 300%. Okay, this is the third post in my series on the epidemic of autoimmune disease. Yeah, I mean, there's an epidemic going on. Nobody's talking about it, but there's an epidemic going on. We want to know what's causing the epidemic, how the diseases can be prevented, how they can be diagnosed early, and how they can literally be cured. So that's the goal. If you stay with me on this, you're going to learn all those things. If you missed any of the previous posts, please go back and check them out, because these posts are going to build on each other as we go through all this. The stats are showing that 17% and as many as up to excess of 20% of the American population has an autoimmune disease, and many of them have not been diagnosed yet. Consider these statistics, okay? One paper reported that the occurrence of the most common biomarker of autoimmunity is a certain test called the ANA test. ANA stands for anti-nuclear antibody. So the anti-nuclear antibody is the most common biomarker of autoimmunity. Between 1988 and 2012, so what's that, like 25 years, something like that? And in this study, the frequency of positive ANA tests, again, these are tests for autoimmune disease, okay, among adolescents, kids aged between 12 and 19, increased almost 300%. What is going on with our kids? Why are our kids getting these terrible diseases? And it gets a lot worse, though. The prevalence of type 1 diabetes, that'd be juvenile onset diabetes, it can happen when you're a baby. In the adult population, though, which is pretty uncommon in the adult population. In fact, in my early days in the 70s and 80s, I don't recall ever seeing a case of it, of adult onset type 1 diabetes. Anyhow, the prevalence of type 1 diabetes in the adult population has nearly doubled in the last 40 years. Not that long ago, type 1 diabetes in adults was a rarity. I hardly ever saw it. Additionally, over the past 30 years, the chance of coming down with an autoimmune disease called celiac disease in the U.S. has increased 500% in the past 30 years, doubling every 15 years. There's an epidemic going on, and it's getting worse and worse. You look at these numbers, if these continue, it's not going to be long before the majority of people walking around are going to have an autoimmune disease. That could be you. The estimated number of people with multiple sclerosis and other autoimmune diseases increased 30% worldwide between 2013 and 2022. And autoimmune inflammatory bowel disease, I'm seeing this all the time, increased 46% between 2006 and 2021. So I ask myself, what are we doing that's causing all this disease? We're doing something. This is not all genetics. We're doing something. What are we doing? So hang on, because I'm going to answer that question for you, because the answer to that question is critical when it comes to preventing and figuring out how to cure these diseases. And let me tell you right now, I guarantee you, these diseases can be cured. I've done it myself many times. So that's a promise to you. So hang on.